of Ed Life. I want to apologize for not being here last week. Of course, I was on my way to the studio, and I guess most of you know about that accident there at Agricola, which prevented me the traffic build-up. So was so much built up that I couldn't make it to the studio. But thank God, I'm here this evening. And as the program is dedicated to holding the APNU AFC government accountable, we've been seeing so many missteps by this government. For this government, it's all about, filling their pockets, about corruption, cronyism, nepotism, and we have so many things to talk about tonight. But I want to start off to those of you who are joining us on Facebook, of course, our live feed there. You're going to see I made a post earlier, moments ago, about some very disturbing information that came to me. I received quite a number of calls during the course of today with regards to, a new development. So a number of persons called me to report that they have been receiving calls, anonymous calls if you want to call it. And these folks are saying, they're calling on behalf of President David Granger. The first question in the minds of Guyana is, how exactly did these people get our numbers? And so, the argument may be, they went to the directory and they just pluck out numbers and call. But the callers are asking questions which would show that they have personal information of the persons they are contacting. So, if you hear the kind of questions that I received, about 30 calls during the course of today. Persons are saying, comrade, I'm here, people are calling me with a lot of personal information about me, asking me what President Granger can do for me, telling me about the number of members in my family. You have 3 kids going to school. What can the president do to help you? We know you're a single parent. Information of this nature. Now, those information can only be retrieved from state agencies. You apply for a house lot, or you submit an application somewhere where you have to provide personal information. So this government, in the campaign, they're going to people's personal information. There are some serious concerns by those who call me to say, I don't know what else they can use my information for. Are they going to use my information to get an ID card on my behalf? Are they going to use my information to get fake passports on my behalf so that they can rig the elections, they can have persons vote on my behalf? So these are the concerns. So look out for those calls. You're going to get those calls coming to you. But I want to expose it here, that the government seems to be taking information, personal information of people, using the state agencies, places like the Central Housing and Planning Authority. When you make your application for a house lot, you have to put how many kids you have to put a contact number, you have to put your address, you have to put if you're married, if you're a single parent. And the kind of information, the kind of information that are being shared during these calls, based on what I understand, is personal information that cannot be accessed anywhere else but probably from applications that you would have submitted to state agencies. So that is what the government is doing. Apparently, they hire a set of people who they're putting there to call you, to ask you what the president can do for you. For 4 years, the president didn't need to call you to ask what he can do for you. But now that he is faced with a successful no confidence motion and elections is inevitable, within a very short time from now, all of a sudden, he's accessing your information illegally. Note that. They're accessing your information illegally to call you, to tell you, to ask you, rather, what the president can do for you. And a lot of people are concerned about this because they think that this information, like I said, can be used for so many things. Access fake ID cards and birth certificates and all sorts of things for you, and then they show up and they vote on your behalf for a political party, for the APNU AFC. So I want to encourage you to continue to call us, to call me if you want, or to contact the People's Progressive Party and let us know when you receive these calls. My number, I can share it with you guys. My number is 658-7999. Continue to call me. And a lot of persons have my personal cell number, and they call me almost on a daily basis. And today I was really surprised. I got really upset And I said, this is something that I need to share with the public, that these guys are busy accessing your personal information. And this is not a concern of me alone. My personal concern, these are concerns that were expressed by callers, persons who contact me, that they are fearful that their information can be used for activities and for purposes that will benefit the coalition. Whether or not it's going to be skullduggery in terms of voting and so forth. So I wanted to share that with you, and I wanted to ask you to continue to when you get those calls, make contact with us. You can contact me personally, I shared my number, or you can contact us at the People's Progressive Party Civic Headquarters, the PPP Headquarters Freedom House on 227-2095, and submit those reports. Let us hear exactly when you receive those calls. I'm going to take some calls. I see the phone already going off. I'm going to start taking some calls. But we have so many things to talk about tonight. What is happening in our country. The corruption is extremely high. All of them, whose children are not getting money, who's getting money from the Chinese, who are, all these corrupt contracts and so forth. And that is all they're concerned about. But one of the big things I want to talk about tonight is the disturbing and racist statement from David Hines, as he calls himself a professor, Professor David Hines, who's calling for purge of the public sector, because he's of the view that the whole notion about PPP moles and the government should purge the PPP moles. How are they going to know that? How are they going to know who exactly is a PPP in the public sector? And we see what happened with the public service ministry. And these guys lie so much. Could you imagine that the Ministry of the Presidency released a statement to say, no, the minister didn't fire anybody. Then we produced the letter, one of the dismissal letters. And we have a lot of dismissal letters that were sent to us, where the minister fired everybody from the personnel department as well as the accountant, because they suspect that the department provided information which revealed that millions of dollars of taxpayers' money were transferred to the accounts of the children of a minister. And the leader of the opposition made the point, and I want to reiterate the point, that we don't have a problem with the children of ministers or public officials. What we have a problem with is when you're going to take our money, as in the people of this country's money, and you're going to put it in your personal accounts. You're going to send it to your children. We have a problem with that. And you, comrades, should have a problem with that. Because at the end of the day, they're killing you. 200 new taxes. They're killing you with taxes, and then they're taking the money that they collect from you and they're putting it into their personal accounts. They're spending it. A certain minister, still to answer some questions that I ask, the minister claimed that 9,000 US was transferred to his account. He claimed that the monies was a reimbursement from a trip overseas, where the organizers of that event that he attended reimbursed his travel, etc. But the minister had the money in his account for over a year. And why was the money transferred to his account and not to the account of the agency that he borrowed the money from? Why the minister can't show us? He released a letter that states that he was invited to an event. That is all the letter stated, that the minister was invited to an event. He hasn't proven to us that the organizers said to him that we're going to reimburse the money. He's still to prove to us that indeed he took the money from Marad. He's still to prove to us that indeed he transferred back the money to Marad, despite it being a year late. But this government, I'm going to tell, let me take one call. I'm going to tell you their approach. And we saw it. Because they think that if they stay silent and they ignore these things, that Guyanese are going to forget about it. But we're not going to forget about it. They're corrupt. The level of cronyism in this government is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Good evening.
Good evening. I got one complete here, man.
Yes, brother.
Yep, on a guy known as Rai, the APNU representative at Beehive. Lean the Mahaika Canal, and now the Clanbrook Silent lead the lead to the Mahaika Canal, and the mouth of the let lose the water. Everything that thick from a bush. Over Indiana told me that the Marina Fallis Canal got put this cook for clean. He said yes. He already done clean the canal and I clean the cook out. That canal about 40 feet or about 45 to 40 feet in width. He actually cleaned it for 15 feet. So therefore I want to read I make you know.
Yeah.
And in a clean them every month and you draw the money. So those are the type of people
But what we want you guys to do, and we made a public call. Thanks for coming through, but I want you to listen to what I have to say, all right?
Yeah.
What we want you guys to do, when you see these corrupt acts, get that information to us. Get that information to the People's Progressive Party. Get that information to me or any one of our comrades so we can have this information, because this is what is happening in this country. The APNU AFC government, they have moved corruption. I don't think, I don't know how to describe it. Unprecedented levels of corruption in this government. And I want to talk a little bit about Dr. David Hines. I'm ashamed to put doctor to his name. This man is saying he is supporting the minister, who I understand is related to him, very closely related to him, the newly appointed Minister of Public Service. He's supporting her decision to fire an entire department, people with years of service, all because they think that the department, and by the way, we haven't received, the PPP did not get the information from the department they fired. So they want to intimidate people. They want to drive fear in people. Don't share information with the opposition. Don't let them know that we are corrupt. That is what this government is saying. So they want to send a message to fire an entire department. Then Mr. David Hines is going to say, we have to get rid of PPP moles in government. The AP and UFC is correct to do that. This is a man who calls himself an Afro-Guyanese activist. And this man is trying to justify the firing of a department that is all Afro-Guyanese, because the information is probably with that department. We don't want to say where we got the information from. We don't want to say which department, but the information probably is with that department and other departments and other ministries. He's saying that they need to do a purge. So they're going to, like the leader of the opposition put it, they're going to call you in. Are you a PPP mole? Okay, go. You know what it's going to boil down to? It's going to boil down to suspicion. And what is going to be the suspicion? Oh, you were working here before 2015. You have to be a PPP mole. And they're going to get rid of you. So that is what David Hines is asking for. Everybody who working there before 2015 in the ministries, they're moles, get rid of them. His statement is no different from Vola Lawrence's statement, where she says, my friends are PNC, and the only people I'll give jobs to are PNC people. Good evening.
Ed, good evening. How are you doing?
Not bad, ma'am.
You know, somebody needs to sue the pants off of that minister. One of those employees or all of them should get together and sue her. When people abuse their power, they don't usually fall on their butts, they fall on their faces. And the Granger government, I guess they're not fully aware. They are illegal as of March 21st. And I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what the CCJ has come up with. And I hope it's very soon, because by the time we do get Granger out of there, the treasury will be empty.
I think we already emptied it.
I don't think there will be anything left. This is like Christmas come to town for them. I've never seen anything like this, and it's like everyone's hands are tied. They can't do anything about it. You know, anyway.
Thanks for coming through.
I feel like blowing some steam tonight.
I know. Thanks for coming through.
Have a good one.
You too, ma'am. All right. Yes, so, and that's the problem. You're going to fire an entire department. You know what? So, David Hines now, who talks about, fighting corruption, By the way, this AP and UFC government campaigned in 2015 on an anti-corruption platform. Then what we have? You have a minister collecting unsolicited bids, taking money illegally from accounts of agencies and pay and do feasibility studies. We have a situation where the Cherijagan International Airport, we're paying more, but we're getting less. Instead of 8 air bridges, we're getting 4. Instead of a new terminal building, we're getting a renovated one. And by the way, I understand the airport piece by piece is washing away. It's leaking. You got to get boats to go in. I understand in the arrival and departure terminals. We have a minister, or we have ministers who are taking state funds and putting it into the hands of private people. We have ministers who are getting monies transferred to their children's accounts. We have ministers who are collecting bribes almost on a daily basis. We have ministers who are getting money from Chinese companies into their private accounts and claim that it's for travel and it's a reimbursement and all sorts of things. We have a situation where single sourcing has become the order of the day. Hundreds of millions of our tax dollar. These ministers are handpicking contractors who are financiers of the APNU AFC and give them hundreds of millions of dollars in contracts. Bloated contracts. The construction or the procurement of the material might be $10 million. If you're getting $20 and $30 million. And like the leader of the opposition keep maintaining, we're getting a lot of information. And we encourage the folks, the right-minded folks in the public sector and other places who have access to information that can show the level of corruption in this government to share it with us. We have a page. I'm going to share that page with you where you can inbox us that information. Or you could drop it off at the leader of the opposition office. You can drop it off at Freedom House so that we can let the Guyanese people know that these guys are robbing us on a daily basis. You remember the $18 million signing bonus? When they said, no, we ain't got no money. I don't know what money you're talking about. When it was exposed, Jordan told the press, y'all asked me about 20 million, so y'all didn't ask me the right question. And because of pressure, because of the continuous efforts of the opposition and other advocates, they finally transferred the money to the consolidated fund, right? So this is the kind of thing that's happening. We know what happened with the Buju Banton show. They claim it's PNC money, but they can't prove to us it's PNC money. It is our money, state funds, your money that's supposed to be used to fix the roads, to give your children, to ensure your children have books in the school, and all sorts of things. But no, they took it to sponsor a show for a convicted drug trafficker, to bring him here, to big him up. Good evening.
Hi, good evening, Eddie.
Good evening, brother.
I got that program. With the Minister Simona Bruce, right? We find that the government is silent on her behalf, or she is silent when it comes to the accountability of what the money that was transferred to her children's account.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If a single minister can get that amount, almost $20 million, transferred to the children account, why is it they cannot reinstate the $10,000 grant to all children that are attending school?
Well, they took 40 million and they went to buy tickets to the Buju Banton show.
Right? And then they going all over parading themselves and telling people how they getting on, that they're doing everything to reach the government outreach, as they call it. Mm-hmm. But they spend hundreds of millions of dollars on these things. And yet, the children them are suffering in school because of one instance of a school on the East Coast. It's every 2 weeks, right? I'm a father of 3 that are attending school. And every 2 weeks, we have to find things to submit to the school for sales. Plus, we have to find at least $300 to $400 to give the children and to purchase those things back to keep the school running. Right? And the minister, you never hear anything from the ministry concerning these things.
Thanks for coming through, brother.
Yep.
Yes, so that is the situation, and I'm happy that the caller raised the question of, you can find money for the Budget Banton show. You can find money for your ministers to go and bribe people. You can find money to transfer to ministers' children's accounts. You can find money to do all sorts of skullduggery. But you can't find money to ensure that the children of this country, the $10,000 that the PPP started, of giving them annually to assist them, they can't find money for that. Good evening. I think we lost that one. Yeah, so the number to call is 233-2459 or 501-0617. And we're talking about this government, the high level of corruption in this government, right? You see the story there about the two vehicles they seized in Lethem. So they seized the vehicle in May, but the vehicle was registered in March in the name of a PNC, a big-time PNC activist. We're hearing across this country how this government installing their cronies, incompetent cronies, in all the ministries and departments and agencies and regional offices, so that, it's jobs for the boys. You remember what happened with the ministers, the dual citizen ministers who resigned? The next day they had jobs, high-paying jobs, while the poor people, the young people of this country are struggling. The hallmark of this government is corruption, cronyism, and incompetence. I don't even want to talk about the Minister of Public Security, his incompetence. The man busy fighting for prime ministerial candidacy of the AFC, a party that is dead. He's busy fighting for prime ministerial candidacy while bandits are walking in the homes of our people on a daily basis, robbing them, killing some of them. And the man said, I don't know what to do about that. I give up. I'm fed up. I'm frustrated. He's not frustrated to fight for prime ministerial candidacy. He and Moses Nagamutu are two peas in the same pot. They're busy, obsessed with power, while the people of this country are suffering. And that is replicated across the coalition government. Across the coalition government. We don't know, the agriculture minister don't say anything. This man is just there, as we say in Guyanese parlance, the man just along there for style. That is, they're supposed to got a minister there, and they put the fella there. He knows nothing. He does nothing. Good evening.
Good evening, Ed.
Good evening, brother.
What are you doing, buddy?
Well, I'm here trying.
Okay. First thing was saying, David Hines. The statement that he made, I wonder to know if he's going to get a charge for making those statements, for get rid of the PPP mode. But given to that, I am Afro-Guyanese. I am a Indo-Guyanese. I don't mind joining on with those people that they fired to go and protest in front of the ministry. Because at the bottom of it, they have to work. And I don't see how the minister could fire all those staff because of whatever who give information or not information. So therefore, if anything should go wrong, nobody must see anything.
That's the thing. They don't want you to talk.
Anything. Everybody must just lie low and let everything go by. But a little that I want the president for this country to know that the hardest thing to make people eye water on you. And the president needs to realize that the people eye water on him because he are the head of state. And people, children crying. People, children need help. And don't let people, children eye water fall on you because that is the biggest disaster in your life when people eye water fall on you.
Thanks for coming through, brother. Yes, so like I keep maintaining, and this thing about David Hines and the actions taken there by that minister. I mean, it could be any one of us. You're working in the public sector. It could be you tomorrow. Tomorrow, one of the ministers can walk in and say, "You're fired." Give you a letter, terminate your service. Terminate your service, right? Fire you because that minister thinks you share information of their corruption. But I want to encourage all of you to continue to share the information of their corruption. Let us expose them. They think they own this country and they can do whatever they want. They can take our money, use it how they want, and they don't care about us. Now they're busy running all over the place. I've never seen a government run all over the place like this. They're busy all over the place because you know what? They realize that Guyanese don't want them anymore. They failed. David Granger and his entire cabinet failed the people of this country. They've already corrupted this country. They've already stolen millions and billions of dollars. And they hear oil money. So they don't want to give up. They want to hold on. So Basil Williams tried with some other crazy idea with the CCJ. But I don't want to touch on that issue because of the fact that that matter is sub judice. It's before the courts. I don't want to go down there. But these people think they can thief our money. They can take our money. They can rob the state. And they can punish you, the poor people of this country. I'm a candid speaker. I don't want to mince words. I don't want to find fancy words to describe what is happening in our country. Because I walk the streets on a daily basis. I talk to people on a daily basis. And the poor people in this country are suffering. The rich people, or those that are considered rich in this country, are suffering as well. Because the businesses are not, business is not being, not flourishing the way it used to be. While these guys busy with their cronyism, their corruption, and their incompetence is evident in almost everything that they trouble. Every single thing that they place their hands on. You can see the incompetence. So as a people, we have to hold them accountable. I see the president visiting, all of a sudden, he's visiting Albion Estate, selling out the estate, closing down the estates, but he's busy visiting them now. For what purpose? Electioneering. Electioneering is what they're visiting for, hoping that they can come and fool you again. Moses Nagamutu went to Essequibo and said to the people there, oh, myself and the president are considering in our second term providing free tertiary education. The PUP said the other day that that is one of our considerations for the oil money. All of a sudden, Moses Nagamutu gets the idea. But Moses Nagamutu is somehow of the belief that the people of Essequibo are going to forget his $9,000 a bag for paddy in 2015. He somehow thinks that these people are crazy, they're going to forget it. He somehow thinks that he can go there. He can't go to Berbice and fool the people anymore. They don't want him there. He lied. He lied so much to them, so they don't want him there. He thinks now he can go to our comrades, our brothers and sisters on the Essequibo coast, and he can lie to them about tertiary education or free. He didn't talk about, look, he went to Essequibo. There is no University of Guyana campus on the Essequibo coast. This naive fella didn't go to the Essequibo coast and say, look, we're thinking about bringing a campus of the University of Guyana to Essequibo. Oh, we're going to give you free tertiary education. Those are the lies. These are the kind of lies coming from the mouths of these people. These are the kind of lies. You think that they fooled people in 2015 and they're going to fool you again in 2019. You're smarter than that. And that is why we're saying reject them. Don't let them come now to try to butter you up, as we call it, and try to say, oh, we're going to buy this, we're going to do this, we're going to do that for you. They had 4 years of doing it, and they did nothing. They did absolutely nothing. I want this coalition government to show me one thing they did on the Essequibo coast to benefit the people. One single thing. And don't tell me about the GPL, they improved the quality of service there, because the people are still getting blackout. Wow, that's a whole different story I'm talking about there. Let me take one more call. This whole blackout issue, I don't want to... Oh my gosh. Good evening.
Hello, good night, Kenny.
Good night, brother.
I hear the president of the for the news. He's sorry that Chopper job lost.
He's sorry?
He finally knows that.
Because he wants your vote. So finally he's sorry. He is the man who closed the estates. He is the man who caused thousands of people to lose their jobs.
Right, that's right.
And then he's gonna come and say, "Oh, I'm sorry." It's like somebody come and kill somebody for you, then they come back next and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I did it." The damage has already been done. Our people are in poverty.
True.
Thanks for coming through, brother.
Thank you.
So, the gentleman is saying that he heard the president saying on the news he's sorry so many jobs were lost. I mean, I'm smiling, I'm looking as though I'm laughing, but it's a serious matter. This man presided over the closure of sugar estates, the firing of thousands of people across this country, and now because he needs your vote, hoping that you can vote him back in and his coalition in, he's coming to you to say, "I'm sorry." Good evening. Hello, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, brother.
I think this man should really get an ice cream truck when he going about fooling people, you know.
I like that one.
You know, like little children.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. Everything good?
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming through, brother.
Okay, brother.
That's an interesting one. The man should get an ice cream truck. You're right, brother. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening, brother.
That is right with the president now come out and sorry when he done cause all the accidents. Everybody is frustrated. That's what they're doing. We not want them no more. DPP be going in.
Thanks for coming through, brother. Thanks. Yeah, you know, this is the level of frustration in this country, our people. They're all frustrated to see what is happening. Good evening. Hi, good evening, brother.
I don't know. I don't think notice if the building 3 supposed to be health centers in Linden.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you can do some background.
Yeah.
So, thanks.
I think I lost our caller there. Good evening.
Hi, good evening to you.
Good evening, brother.
I would like to talk on a very important problem that is going on in terms of crime.
Go ahead, brother.
Okay. The Commissioner of Police as well as the Minister of Security, they claim that there is a decrease in crime. Citizens are fully aware that there is a massive increase in crime. Take, for instance, numerous people are being robbed around the Starbuck area during the day and more so in the coming into the evening hours. This has been going on for a very, very long time. Its constables are fully aware of it and the police are aware of it and nobody is doing anything about it. At the various destinations, the parks, the various routes people take to go, there are small gangs of youth snatching people's cell phone and these things and so on around the place. They're in a bus waiting, they snatch the phone, they rob you around the park. And when they finish, they carry these phones right in front of big market, either nighttime or daytime. And their buyers there buying this phone, slip out the SIM card, put in another one there, you can go and have a cheap phone.
Yeah.
While there during the day, the whole under big market stink of weed, conto, all kinds of things, telling people approach me, you want this, you want a cell phone, I got a tablet and these things. All these things is teaching things with these various gangs roaming the streets around the Starbuck area at night, robbing people. The constables them fully aware of it, the police fully aware this thing's been going on for a very long time. There's a massive increase in crime. They got it around Ogle, in Dot Street, Pleasant, they got a motorbike gang operating there.
Oh, yeah?
Robbing people, yes, robbing people. If you look on Facebook, you can see how much people posting videos and these things. Around the Ogle area, going into these communities, when you come off of the main road, these roads are so lonely, you have to take a bus and carry you there. And as you walk along,
Yeah, you're right. I saw a girl was robbed the other day somewhere at Ogle Road there, right? Or two persons
around Pleasant, a little while ago, old guy, old senior citizen.
coming from the market.
Yeah, he was robbed also. So there are gangs operating in this area. Motorcycles are robbed. You not only take from Michael Street, all around the town is the same thing going on. And the commissioner of police consider there is a decrease. This guy, somehow like this guy living in the office is somewhere in Pluto, and he needs to take it back to East Leary and get something done.
Thanks for coming through, brother.
But I must warn citizens around the park, the Sports Park, Tortu Park, and all these different parks. There are gangs operating there, snatching your phone, your bag, and these things. Night time there is no police there, and right on the big market they carry and sell all these phones right back there. You want a cheap phone, a cheap expensive, well, Well, you could probably go to an expensive phone. You can go there and get it for a reasonable price. All you have to do is unlock it right there and get a deal. And these dealers are out there nighttime and daytime. Because these small gangs that operating work with them. They go and snatch a phone and they get a 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, depends on the brand of the phone, how expensive it is. And the dealers right here waiting to buy it from them. Nobody doing nothing about it. Ramshatam can't see this, Commissioner of Police can't see this. So many people get robbed, they can come for it and right, do everything they can do, but they're being robbed. All right, thanks.
All right, thanks for coming through, brother. So, you know, and I allowed the caller to go on because he made some very important points. I think he shared some very important information with you guys with regards to crime. And it's funny that the U.S. State Department issued an advisory warning people not to travel or to prevent or to travel to Guyana, be cautious and so forth, because there's a high level of crime. I was about to say the Minister of State, the Director General of the Ministry of the Presidency said, we don't agree with the report. The U.S. don't know what they're talking about, right? Then the Commissioner of Police, the Director General says Guyana is a safe place, absolutely safe place. You know, then you have the Minister of Public Security parroting the same foolishness. Then you have the Commissioner of Police to come and say to people, oh, crime is down. I'll expose what they do, because I have examined the figures. So things like kidnapping, they have it as listed on the various crimes on that sheet. So there is no kidnapping. Some of the smaller crimes, not happening. So they add all the crimes, and then they say, okay, you see, last year we had 5 pickpockets. So the total higher last year. This year we had 3 pickpockets. It comes down. The concern of our people is the armed robberies mainly. The armed robberies where the gunmen coming into your homes and they rob you and they kill you. Let the Commissioner of Police, let Mr. Ramjatan, let the Director General of the Ministry of the Presidency come to you with the figures and tell you, disaggregate the figures, tell you how many armed robberies using firearms, how many armed robberies using other instruments, how many cases of rape, how many cases of murder. Then you will see the difference. But they think they can fool all of us. You can fool some of the people some of the time. You can't fool all the people all the time. Good evening.
Hi, good night.
Good night.
4 years now, our Prime Minister in the government, what decision he ever make?
Well, no, you can't do that. The man reinstated Duncan who at Chronicle. That's his first decision in 4 years. It's a major decision for him. Reinstate a man who can account for monies at Guyana Chronicle.
Okay then. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming through. Yes. So, again, we have to wrap things up, but I want to reiterate, we have a situation in our country where our people would have lost hope. There is absolutely no hope among our people. Our young people, they can't get jobs. You want to give them free education. Find jobs for them. Do not forget, Mr. David Granger said in 2014, early 2015, that one of his promises to the young people, it was at the University of Guyana, is that at least 1 year after you complete your studies at university, he's going to ensure that you get a job. You know what is it? Subsequently, what he said to you? Go and do cocoa rice and planting chip. That government don't create jobs. You got to go and create your own jobs. This is the kind of people. They use our young people. They use the people of this country in 2015 to put them in office so that they can corrupt this country, they can rob this country, they can make this country, destroy the economy, put us back to pre-1992. That is all that they wanted. So they get in there, then they're going to tell you, you got to go and find your jobs. Oh, the government is not in the rice business. The rice sector is private sector. Y'all try with y'all problems there. The people had paddy bug problems on the Essequibo coast. They did nothing for them. The people in Berbice had the same problem. They did nothing for them. That's the problem. That's the problem. You can trust these people with our oil wealth. you know what they will do? They're going to fill their pockets like they're doing now and do nothing for you. Comrades, friends, brothers and sisters of this country, I want to say to you again, our young people in particular, be absolutely careful. This government has nothing to offer you. The APNU AFC, it's about themselves, how they can fill their pockets. So I want to encourage each and every one of you, brothers and sisters, when the elections come, there's one political party that has the interest of you, the people of this country, at heart, is the People's Progressive Party. We in the PPP are going to work assiduously to ensure that your lives are improved. You saw it. We have the track record. We were there. You saw how we moved this country from a bankrupt country to a thriving economy with at least 8 years of continuous economic growth when the world was facing recession. Our country was growing. People were getting jobs. People were getting vehicles. People were owning homes. These people probably gave about 2,000 house lots, if so much, in 4 years. We were giving at least 4,000 per year. We were ensuring that 4,000 families at least are in homes, have a house lot that they can go to the bank and they can get a loan and they can build a house. You can go to the bank, you can get a loan, you can buy a vehicle. We did that. We have a track record. What is their track record? Corruption? Cronyism? This is where we have to wrap things up. I'm going to be back with you next week, but like I said, I want to warn folks that you're getting these calls. I received so many calls about persons calling with personal information about citizens, information that people didn't share anywhere else but at state agencies, like places like the Ministry of Housing, the Central Housing and Planning Authority, and so forth. People are calling to ask what David Granger can do for you, and they're talking about your personal information, how many kids you have, where you're living, if you're a single parent. They're telling you that you're a single parent and so forth. Information like that is information that you would have shared when you make an application or so somewhere. So let the calls continue to come. The number to call is 658-7999. That's my number. WhatsApp me, send a message, let me know, or call the People's Progressive Party headquarters on 227-2095. Until next week, I'm your host, Eddie Layne, saying thanks for being part of this program. And remember, the PPP is the party for Guyana, for all the people of Guyana. Always remember that and vote PPP the next time you go to the polls. Until next week, thanks for being part of the program, and thank you to all the callers. I'll be out of here now. Bye.